Hey guys, Brian McWhite with JP here. Wanted to talk today briefly about a concept that's becoming fundamental for all of our agents here at JP. And it's not something we created. We stole it right from a guy named Larry Kendall. But it's the idea of creating 50 interviews a week, 50 live interviews a week. Now I say live, that could be on the phone or it could be in person. But we're trying to prompt all of our agents to find ways to interact, to engage with 50 people a week. But we like to call them interviews rather than just meetings, because the whole point of these interviews is we want you asking questions, okay? So a live interview, what does that mean? It means that we're gonna sit down with someone, call someone, have a conversation with someone at the gym or at a book club or at a school event or whatever, and we're gonna ask them the forward questions, okay? We're gonna ask them about their family, what's happening with your family, what's happening with your occupation, your work, what's happening with recreation, what are you doing for fun, and then ask people about their dreams. What are you hoping for? What are you aspiring to? And here's why those questions. We find that those questions, if we ask those questions, number one, we're interested people, and I think interested people are interesting people. Demonstrates that we care, demonstrates that we're interested in people's lives, but also those questions about family, occupation, recreation, and dreams, oftentimes if we ask questions like that of people and then listen, we find out where change is happening in their lives. And when we find out where change is happening in their lives, that's often where they reveal that they have a real estate need, okay? And so we can enter in with our expertise. Now, the question is, how do you get in front of 50 people a week? That sounds kind of overwhelming. But as soon as you start to plan it out, and that's the whole point of this, we want our agents planning out how they're going to interview 50 people a week. As soon as you start thinking about, okay, well, I can probably talk to 2, 3, 4 people at the gym each day and ask them about family, ask them about work, ask them about their dreams, or ask them about recreation. That's 4, all right? I can call 5 people a day. There's 25 right there during the work week, and just ask them interested questions about what's happening in their life. I can meet people for coffee or lunch. I can probably set up 5 to 8 of those every week. So as soon as you start to add up all those, it's not nearly as much as you think. But the thing is none of this happens by accident. You can't accidentally have 50 interviews with people a week and ask them good questions about their life and what's happening. So my encouragement to you this week is to start making a habit of Sunday night or Monday morning planning out for 2 weeks in advance how you're gonna get those 50 live interviews, all right? Who are you gonna have lunch with? Who are you gonna have coffee with? Who are you gonna call? How many people do you think you can honestly get into conversations with at the gym or at happy hour or whatever it is that's your thing, whatever that you do? How can you get those interviews? Because they won't happen on accident. If you try to let them happen on accident, maybe you're gonna get 5 or 10 people engaged in a good conversation each week. But if you plan it out, it's not that hard to engage with 50 people every week with those family, occupation, recreation, and dreams kinds of questions. And over the course of time, like I said, you're gonna discover where the real estate needs are, and you're also gonna be able to add people to your database and start creating emails and good content value to send to them as well, all right? So remember that, 50 interviews a week. Let's plan it out. Let's figure out how we're gonna get those, all right? Let me know how I can help you guys. I'm excited for the week ahead.